Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly review Solitarica. This is a game that you can find on Steam for about $10. Well, let me just come right out and say that I really enjoy this one. It's got that addictive grind that I just keep coming back to every now and again. So Solitarica is a solitaire game that is also a roguelike. So you start off with a character. You start off with this warrior deck. And you get as far as you can. And you're playing solitaire while you're doing it. Well, kind of like solitaire. Let's say you draw a 5. And there's a 6 somewhere in the grid. You can click on the 6, and now you're looking for a 7 or a 5 again. So you're going to keep going up or down one number, clearing off the board as appropriate. Now, like games like Puzzle Quest, you also have a mana mechanic, where you'll be able to spend different colored mana in order to cast certain spells. Each character starts the game with specific spells. Again, there's a warrior that you start with, but you'll be able to unlock more people along the way, using premium currency, which I'll get to in a minute. Don't worry, no real money is involved. It's just you earn this premium currency, these gems, as you continue playing, and you unlock more stuff. So anyway, getting back to what I'm saying, you're going to be using these mana spells in order to help you out along the way. You gain mana whenever you clear a card from the board of a particular color, and when you happen to draw the next card in your deck. The way the solitaire game works, you draw one card at a time. There are some solitaire variants where you draw 3 at a time, but in this game you draw 1 at a time. If your deck runs out, it's fine. You shuffle and just keep going. So it's not like a true solitaire game. It's got its own little rules that you have to kind of get used to. But yeah, as the warrior that you start off with, you get some really cool abilities. Some might be, okay, for 3 of this orange mana, clear out a card of your choice from the top row. Or using the blue mana, gain some armor. Now, whenever you can't make a match and you're forced to draw another card, the enemy gets to go. They get to draw a card from their deck. And that usually entails doing damage to you or something bad. Now, the early guys, though, sometimes they will be something good. Like the first or second guy that you face will sometimes add mana to your pool. Again, it's just for difficulty purposes. You know, they balance the game so that, you know, there's a little bit of help coming your way. But anyway, once you beat the enemy by clearing off all the cards on the grid, then you can spend the gold that you're earning in shops in between. Now, these shops will change depending on how far you make it into your run. I think there's like 18 battles in all, something like that. And you start with battle 1, you work your way up. When you finally die, you start back to 1 again. Well, different cards or different abilities will appear depending on where you are within those 18 battles. So, for example, the warriors, let's say he'll come across this bash ability. And, well, actually, no, that's his starter. Let me see if I can find one here. Stab. Damage selected front card. That only appears in battles 5 through 18. Or, say, Expose Weakness. Appears in battles 7 through 18. So, the further that you go into the game, the stronger the cards tend to get that you can buy. But they also require more mana to cast. So, yeah, they're great, but at the same time, if you're not earning mana quickly enough, then you could be in a lot of trouble, and those skills won't really help you out at all. Now, you can equip 6 different spells at a time. So you can have, like, say, 2 orange, 2 blue, a purple, and a green, or something like that. And you can pick and choose which one you want to cast whenever you have enough mana to do so. That's really cool. You'll also be able to, instead of buying spells at these shops, you can also buy these items. One of them might be start battles with +2 armor, or start battles with +1 energy each, or start battles with +4 attack energy, or so on. So these are like relics, as I like to call them, that are permanent upgrades to your character for that run. And then again, once you die, you lose all that stuff. So speaking of which, whenever you finally lose a battle, meaning that your health goes down to 0, then you'll go back to the beginning and you'll choose your deck again. Now, this is where that premium currency comes into play. From the previous run, you'll get, say, 20 gems, or whatever they're called. And each deck in this game is worth 40 gems. There's a monk deck, a paladin, rogue, wizard, bard, barbarian, vanguard, acrobat, and sorcerer. In addition to that, there are other upgrades that you can purchase for that particular deck. So, for example, the warrior has some upgrades that you can buy, deck upgrades. So, for 40 gems, you can buy this Ace of Might. So, whenever you draw this Ace of Might, it gives you 3 energy. Or if you draw the Queen of Swords, it damages a random back card. Or if you draw the King of Shields, it gives you 2 armor. So each deck will also have 3 upgradable cards that you can spend gems on, and then that'll become added to your deck. So it's kind of it's like a light deck builder of sorts in that regard. My biggest complaint with the game, really, is the RNG and the lack of other upgrades that the game offers you. I would love to see more upgrades for all of these different decks. All these different decks are great, don't get me wrong, I love it. That being said, you know, I would love to be able to go further down these decks, find one that I like, and then upgrade it for a long time, as opposed to, oh, just a couple of upgrades, okay, I got them all, alright, fine. You can also spend 20 of those premium currency gems to increase the number of item slots that you have. Those are those relics I was talking about. So I would really like a more extensive upgrade system for each of these different decks so that I can sort of customize my deck and make them even more powerful. And the RNG element to this game is my other biggest complaint. There are times where you'll look at your grid and you've got a 4, 5, 6, 7, and you're waiting for that 3 or 5 or something just to get that chain going, but you're drawing a king, then you draw a jack, then you draw an ace, then you draw 2. Anything that you don't need, basically. And yeah, you're gaining mana while you do that. Again, you gain a mana point for that particular card that you draw. If it's an orange 2, you'll gain an orange mana. But while you're doing that, while you're wasting those turns, your opponent is drawing cards of his own, attacking you. And it's very frustrating when you get very far into the game and then your run is cut short because RNG just, it crapped all over you. You're not drawing anything what you need and you're just sitting there getting slaughtered due to no fault of your own. That is probably one of the biggest problems with this game. And to be fair, when it comes to card games like Solitaire, yeah, it's luck-based. It's going to be luck-based. I just wish that there were more ways to mitigate that. And again, I got to play devil's advocate here. Some of these decks that you'll unlock will give you the ability to spend mana to help you chain combos and other things. Like the Rogue, for example, is very chainy that way. But still, like, there are going to be some points where the enemy has stunned you and you can't use an ability and you're drawing cards and nothing's coming up. It's going to happen. And your run is going to end and bam, that's it. Despite everything, all that cool stuff that you got from your gold that you've been spending and the relics that you've been buying, despite all that, your run can be over like that. And that's frustrating. So, like, for a $10 game, do I recommend this? Absolutely yes. I would happily spend, like, I got a press key for this, but I would happily spend an additional $10. Like, I would love to see a Solitarica 2 game. Maybe $20, $30, something a bit more evolved than this. This is great. This is great for the casual. This is great for someone that wants to jump in here, unlock a few things, try out different decks. That's completely fine, and I'm happy. That being said, as someone that enjoys this game, it left me wanting more. I would love a Solitarica 2 where there's more deck customization, there's more unlocks, and I could unlock content for years to come. I would be so happy with that. I would happily spend money to see more content there. And I think the developer behind this is missing out on that because, I don't know, like, I see a lot of people playing this, and they're happy with the way it is, but they may want more, and, you know, I certainly do. So, yeah, I recommend this. It's $10 on Steam. I think it was free recently on the Epic Store, but if the Epic Store is not your thing, I can see why you don't have it. But yeah, Solitarica, great game. I really enjoy playing it. I love the unlock system. There are 2 difficulty modes, normal and epic. You don't get epic, though, until you actually beat it, I think. But still, like, the different enemy decks are varied enough to where they're interesting. Some focus on spell power, some focus on draining your mana, some focus on, you know, stunning you, some focus on spiking cards on the tableau so that they do damage to you when you click on them. Different things like that. So you're going to be, like, constantly adjusting your strategy a bit depending on what comes up, but not so much because, again, there's a bit of RNG to this. Which is why I said I would love to see more in terms of just more content overall. But do I recommend it as it stands, Solitarica? Yes, I do. But that being said, I would love a Solitarica sequel that has, like, double the content. I would be so happy with that. But yeah, in the meantime, while we wait for such a possibility, give this one a look. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to me on Twitch and YouTube. That way you can stay up to date with any new content I'm going to publish. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.